All right, going through and working on the sequence here. So take a look at number 1. All right, this is a quick power rule derivative. So remember, f prime of x is find the derivative of the function. And remember, the power rule is we're going to move the exponent to the coefficient spot, and then we're going to decrease the exponent by 1. So this is going to become 3x squared plus move the exponent to the front, decrease by 1, and we're going to get 2x. And then here, when it's just a constant, remember that slope of the tangent line of the constant is always 0, so it's just 0. So it's 3x squared plus 2x. All right, we'll go find 3x squared plus 2x here. We can see that it is down on this first page here. Here's number 2. All right, now we're doing the derivative of this guy. So let's treat it like a quotient rule question, and then we'll go back and redo it the other way. So we're doing the derivative of y with respect to x. That's what happens when you take the derivative of y. And then we're going to go ahead and do the derivative. Now, if we follow the rules for quotient rule, okay, our top function is essentially f, and our bottom function is g, so f of x, and then g of x. Okay, so when we do the derivative, we're going to do derivative of the top, f prime of x, times the bottom, minus the derivative of the bottom times the top, so the top, f of x, times the derivative of the bottom, okay? I wrote 1 because that is the derivative, but it should be times g of x, and then this whole thing is over the bottom squared. Usually we'll just leave that squared as is. So we go through, derivative of the top is going to be 4x plus 4 times the bottom, which is just x, minus the top, which is 2x squared plus 4x, times the derivative of the bottom, which is just 1 over the bottom squared, which is x squared. All right, and once again, that's still equal to dy over dx. And then we can go ahead and distribute. So we're going to get 4x squared, okay, plus 4x, minus 2x squared, and then we have minus 4x, all right, squared. You can see that these 4x's are going to drop out. This is still over x squared, and we're going to end up getting 4x squared minus 2x squared, which is just 2x squared over x squared. X squared is going to drop out, and this whole thing is just equal to 2. Now, if we wanted to use this using the power rule, remember that we can just divide each of these. We can separate these fractions over that denominator, okay? And then we can take the derivative of each one separately, remembering that we can reduce the x squared with the x here to just make it 2x, and here the x's are going to drop out, just making it 4. And so when we take the derivative of 2x is just 2, and the derivative of a constant is 0, and you see we get the same answer. All right, so let's go find 2. There it is right here. So this is number 3. All right, we're going to do the equation of the tangent line to this graph at the point 1, 9. So remember, equation to the tangent line is y minus y1 equals the slope m times x minus x1. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and take the derivative first. So dy over dx is just equal to 2x for the derivative of the power rule, and the h just becomes 0. And now, because I'm at the point 1, 9, I'm going to plug this point into our equation, and the only thing I can plug in is the x. So dy over dx, the slope of the tangent line at the point 1, 9, is just 2. That's the slope. So now I can state my formula. So it's going to be y minus y1 is 9 equals the slope, which is 2 from when we plugged into the derivative, and then x minus 1. Now, a few different ways you might see this written is you could possibly see the 2 distributed and the 9 moved over, or just the 9 moved over. So we might see something like 9 plus 2x minus 1, and then eventually you may see something that looks like 2x. This is going to be minus 2 plus 9, so plus 7. Any one of those things are options, and we can see on our sheet that we have a y minus 9 equals 2x minus 1 here. And so now we're doing the derivative of x sine of x. Okay, so we're using a product rule here. So remember the product rule. If we think of this as f of x and then g of x for the y function, or then dy over dx, the derivative, is going to be the derivative of the first times the second, plus the derivative of the second times the first. So g prime of x times f of x. Okay, so starting with dy over dx. Derivative of the first, x is just 1 times the sine of x, plus, keep the first one the same, take derivative of the second, we get x cosine x. So really, we don't really need the 1 times. So we're going to get sine of x plus x cosine x. All right, let's go find that one. Oh, there we go. So here's number 4. I believe we're in 4, right? We got 2, 3, no, we're in 5. So this top one was 4. And now we're on to 5. Okay, so here, once again, we're calculating the derivative of k prime of 5. So we want to use a quotient rule and then plug 5 in for our answer. So k prime of t, if we use a quotient rule, is derivative of the top, so g prime of t times the bottom, minus the bottom, or the top times the derivative of the bottom, all over the bottom squared. So if we do k prime of 5, we're just going to take g prime of 5. Now we're going to look, g prime of 5 is a half times f prime of 5, right, or f of 5, sorry, okay, which is just 3, minus g of 5, g of 5 is 2x minus 1, and then f prime of 5 is 3x plus 7. All over f of 5 squared, which is 3. Okay, so we're going to get, from this first part, we're going to get 1.5 minus oh, we have to fix this, by the way. There's a mistake on the sheet here because I plugged in again. We'll get there. 1.5 minus, and then when we distribute, 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Okay, we're going to get 14x minus 3x, which is plus 11x. And negative 1 times negative 7 is minus 7, all over 9. So we distribute, combine like terms, we should get, I'll do it right below here. Okay, negative 6x squared minus 11x. This is going to become plus, and we're adding 1.5 to that, so that's 8.5 plus 8.5. And that's all over 9. That's our final answer. In my solution, I plugged 5 in again, which I shouldn't have, because this is what k prime of 5 equals. So that answer is this guy. So that's that one, negative 6x squared minus 11x plus 8.5 all over 9. All right, and that is number 6. Now we have ourselves a product rule, so we'll follow the product rule. You can distribute and then use your quotient or your power rule instead. We're going to use the product. So derivative of the first, okay, is going to be 12x squared times the second, which is x cubed plus 4, plus for product. Then we keep the first one the same, 4x cubed minus 5, and we multiply times the derivative of the second, which is 3x squared. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and distribute. So we're going to get 12x to the 5th plus 4 times 12 is 48x squared. Okay, we're going to go ahead and distribute through here. We're going to get plus 12x to the 5th. And here we're going to get minus 15x squared. And last but not least, combine like terms. 12 plus 12 is 24. x to the fifth. And then 48 minus 15 is 33 x squared. All right, let's go find that one. There it is, right there. And that's number 7. Okay. Now, same concept again. 2 ways to do this question. First one is we want to think about this as x to the 1/2. And we know that when we multiply this out, it's going to be x squared plus 6x plus 9. If we go ahead and distribute through, we can just use our power rule. So this will turn into x to the 3/2 plus, and then, or sorry, this is actually 4/2. This is 5/2, not 3/2. So it's 2.5, 2.5. So this is x to the 5/2. Okay, 1/2 times 1, or when we add them together, 1 plus 1/2 is 1.5. So 6x to the 3/2, and then plus 9x to the 1/2. Now we can go ahead and take the derivative. We subtract 1, so we move this down, so it's 5. Subtract 1, or 2/2 is 3/2, so power over index is, and let's leave it as fractional exponents to start with, then we'll rewrite it. So this is x to the 3/2, and then this is divided by 2, so it's 5/2, plus, okay, move it to the front. 3 times 6 is 18, divided by 2, and then subtract 1 or subtract 2/2, leaves me with x to the 1/2. Now we're going to move this in the front, so plus 9/2, and then x to the negative 1/2, because we're going to subtract 1. And then finally, right, this is going to be 5 times the square root of x cubed over 2. This will give me 9 square root of x. And this part is going to give me 9. We move this to the bottom and make it a square root over 2 square root of x. And there should be a plus on there. So that's essentially how we're going to do that one. If we did a product rule, okay, the derivative of the first is 1/2 square root of x, okay, times x plus 3 squared. And then we're going to do, actually what we really need to do is multiply this out, because we can't use the chain rule yet. X squared plus 6x plus 9. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other way, plus, and then keep the second one the same. So square root of x times the derivative of the next one, which is going to be 2x plus 6. And then when you go ahead and distribute through, we should end up getting this guy right here. All right. If we really want to go through, we can do this. So this is going to be x squared over 2 square root of x. Now we have to rationalize, so we multiply by the 1/2 x. That's where this is going to come from. And we'll end up getting the same thing here. Okay? Plus, same thing here. It's going to be 6x over 2 square root of x. So there's with the 3. And then we're going to have plus 9 over 2 square root of x. That's this guy right there. Plus, this is really x to the 1/2, if you remember, times 2x. So this is going to be 2x to the 3/2. And you can see where that's going to come into play. And then the same thing on this one is we have plus 6 square root of x. All right. Now, this is x to the first minus x to the half. So this is going to become x to the 1/2, and this is 3. So I want you to see that this part is going to become 3x to the 1/2. This is also x to the 1/2. So notice that this becomes the 9 square root of x here. All right. We have 2 minus 1, which is square root, right, which is the 3 squared 2 here, or square root of x cubed, okay? There's another one here, and when we make these common denominators and put them together, it's where we end up getting that 5 from. All right, and then we have the plus radical 9 over 2. So this is where these are all kind of coming into play here. All right, because we need to get common denominators, we need to put this one over 2. So notice when we put this one over 2, this becomes a 4. And then see how we can add these together now? And we're going to end up getting this. So let me just rewrite this so I can see you're probably looking at the screen going, what is he doing? So this is x to the 3 over 2 divided by 2, okay, plus, and we're going to bring this one over, 4x to the 3 over 2 divided by 2, plus, okay, we have this and this put together, which is our 9 squared root of x, and then we kept this guy around here, and that is going to where it's going to lead this into. So this is 5 x to the 3 over 2, okay? This is our 9 squared root of x, and that is our 9 squared root of x over 2. That's that guy right there, okay? That's it. On the next question. So if we go find that one. So we're looking for this answer right here. 5. There we go. And that one was 7. So we're on to 8. Here we're using a quotient rule. So remember, it is the derivative of the first, which is 10x to the 4th, times the bottom, minus the first times the derivative of the second, which is going to be 20x cubed, over, and we're going to leave this just as the bottom squared. Okay, let's simplify here. So we're going to distribute through. So we're going to get 50x to the 8th plus 50x to the 4th. Now, we can kind of remember that we're like multiplying a negative 20x cubed through here. So just be careful with your signs. So it's going to be minus 40x to the 8th. And then negative 20 times 4 here is going to be negative 80x to the 3rd. All right. So we combine like terms. We got 50x to the 8th, 40x to the 8th, so that's 10x to the 8th, plus 50x to the 4th, and then minus 80x cubed. All right, we're going to find that 10x to the 8th answer. Hey, look at that. Oh, we almost forgot. All of this should be divided by 5x to the 4th minus 5 or plus 5 squared, the bottom squared. All right, that was 8. So this one, there's number 9 here. All right, now we have another product rule. So dy over dx. All right, derivative of the first is 2x times cosine x plus the first times the derivative of the second. Our derivative of cosine is negative sine. And so if we could technically factor out an x. So we'll get 2x cosine x minus x squared sine x. If we factored out an x, it would be 2 cosine x minus x sine x. So any one of these would be answers. You might see either one of these as a final answer to a multiple choice question if we were doing it. All right. It looks like this one, except there should be an x out front. So my apologies for that one. And I think I mixed these up, so that might be why. Let's go double check and make sure that we don't have... Yep, that's it. That was my error. Make that mistake. Fix it up. All right, and we're on to number 10 here. And then nice and easy, the derivative of this, remember we're going to rewrite it as x to the negative 2. So we're going to subtract 1, or move the exponent to the front, and then subtract 1, and this is going to finally turn into negative 2 over x cubed. Let me move that to the bottom. That was 10. And here's 11. Write an equation for the line tangent at x equals 0. So once again, we want to take the derivative. So we have a product rule here, and then we're just taking the derivatives using our power rule here. So the derivative of the first is 2x sine x plus derivative of the second times the first, so x squared. Derivative of sine is cosine x. And then the derivative of negative 2x is just negative 2. Derivative of 7 is just 0. There's our f prime of x. And then we're going to do f prime of 0. So 2 times 0 times the sine of 0. It doesn't matter what this is at all, because 2 times 0 is 0, and 0 times anything is going to be 0. Plus 0 squared times the cosine of 0. So same thing again, because this is multiplied times 0 here, the whole thing's going to equal 0. So we're essentially going to get 0 plus 0 minus 2. And so this is just equal to negative 2. So there's my slope. Okay. We also need to find the y value. So we're going to plug 0 into f of x. So f of 0. And once again, the same thing happens. 0 squared is 0 times the sine of 0 doesn't matter. Okay. Because this whole thing is going to equal 0. Minus 2 times 0, which is 0, plus 7. So this is 0 minus 0 plus 7. And so that is just 7. So that's f of 0. So my formula is going to be y minus y1, which is 7, equals the slope, which is negative 2, times x minus 0. And if you just distributed here and move the 7 over, we would get y equals negative 2x plus 7. So it could be either one of those things, but there is my answer there. And because we just did number 11, this one is number 12. Okay, doing another power rule here. So f prime of x is 4, decreased by 1, x cubed. Derivative of x is just 1, and the derivative here is going to be negative 3 times negative 1, so that's positive 3, and then x to the negative 2. Remember, no negative exponents in our final answer, so 4x cubed plus 1 plus 3 over x squared. And that one is back up here. So we're on to number 12, I believe. No, we just did 12, 13. Okay, we're using the chart here. Right now we have a quotient rule. So h prime of 3 means we're going to do the derivative of the top, that's f prime of 3, times the bottom, that's g of 3, minus the top, f of 3, times the derivative of the bottom, g prime of 3. I put an x there, but just put a 3, over the bottom squared, g of 3 squared. All right, let's plug in. F prime of 3 is 6. G of 3 is negative 3. Minus f of 3, which is 4, times g prime of 3, which is negative 4. All over g of 3, which is negative 3 squared. So we're going to get, for the first part here, negative 18. We're going to get negative 4 times negative 4 is plus 16. And then negative 3 squared is 9. So we end up getting, for this final answer, is negative 18 plus 16. So that's negative 2 over 9. There's negative 2 over 9. Here's number 14. Equation for the tangent line again, that's our point slope form. So the first thing we need to do is take the derivative. Okay, so the derivative of the natural log of x is 1 over x, so times 2 is just 2 times 1 over x, or 2 over x. And the derivative of 3 is 0, and then f prime of 1, we're just plugging in x equals 1, is just 2 over 1, or 2. If we go back over here, okay, we need to do f of 1, so that's 2 times the natural log of 1, and then plus 3. Now the natural log of 1 is just 0. You can use your calculator for that if you don't believe me. if you're not sure about that. All right. So this is just 2 times 0 plus 3, and that's just equal to 3. So that's our y value, and now we can state the equation. So y minus y1, which is 3, equals the slope, which we know is 2, times x minus x1, which is just 1. And there is our formula, and that brings us back where we started, and there is our circuit. Hopefully that helped. Quick review. These are the type of questions you're going to see tomorrow, okay? And hope you have a great rest of your night. Let me know if you guys have any questions.